And last but not least, Zencaster. All right, here's my cue. That's a trick. All right. And now I'm going to. All right, awesome. Welcome to the show, you guys. It's the first time I had a husband and wife team, which is really, really great because already shows me that you guys are on the same page with each other. It's just to give us a little introduction on yourself and what you've been up to without getting into too much detail. All right, before we get into the uphill, downhill battle, so what's this conversation like? You guys are obviously talking about this stuff, and we talk a lot, and we want to do certain things. What was it that you guys wanted to change in your life when you said, I don't want to continue down this path anymore. I'm looking for another solution. I think real estate is it. What was that discontent that you guys had developed in your life that precipitated that conversation? So when you were thinking real estate, were you thinking at the time that you wanted to replace your income with real estate, or was it a side thing, or was it, I mean, how strategic was that idea around real estate for you? Yeah. But you started with single family houses. You did some flipping, right? And how long did you do that? What did you do? How much did you do? You're still doing it? Yep. Yep. Sure. So who was pushing who here in the relationship? Was it Jason? Were you out there kind of going on, towards the edge, or was it more Pili, or who was doing the pushing here? Hmm. Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about that. Obviously, at one point you discovered multifamily, right? You're like, oh, what is that shiny object? And what hit you? So what did you start doing with regards to multifamily? Tell me about the thought process, Jason. I think it was you who took the leap. The thought process about, oh, these single family houses are nice, but look at that shiny object. Why did you start looking into multifamily? Was there something that happened, or some things that happened that kind of made you scratch your head, going, maybe there's another way of doing it? Mm-hmm. Right. So what did you do next to start looking into multifamily? What happened after that? Yeah, and now, Pili, how supportive were you of all this? All this was going on. Mhm. What were the biggest challenges in your mind about multifamily, um, and how did you think you would overcome them? Pili, what were some of your concerns about all this? Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Jason, you obviously you were a bit overwhelmed with coming up with the capital for the stuff. But in your mind, how do you think you're going to overcome that? Yeah. Now, how did you find these people, Jason? So the more you talk to people, the more you believe that you could do this also. Yeah. Now you were going to raise the capital for this stuff, right? Why do you think you could do that? Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense. Here's all my money. So, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's right. You can take that. People see a pattern of success, right? And they can say, "Oh, I see you did this and did this," and they're not directly related, but there's a pattern here. And so you kind of built a track record, even though it's quote unrelated. So tell us about your first deal then. Yeah, so they were invaluable team member as you were getting into deals, and I bet you they gave you a lot of credibility when you mentioned you're working with these guys, and the broker goes, "Oh yeah, I know those guys; they're great." And all of a sudden, your lack of experience is like it's irrelevant. Mm, mm, mm. Right, exactly right. So now you're going to probably freak out. They're like, oh my gosh, they accepted a number. Now we got to sign a contract. And when we do that, now what do I do? Right. So were you starting to freak out at this point? Yeah. Yeah. You seem very calm, and Pili is already going. I think you were probably freaking out a little bit more at this time. Nice. Yeah. Wait a second. Can we talk about this? Yeah. So, so how much money did you have to raise for this, and how did you do it? That's a good little raise for a first deal. How did that go? I mean, did you already have the 800,000 committed when you started this thing, or was it kind of like you had some committed, but you still had to go get the rest? Very good. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. So how is this? So you closed on this thing. How's the deal performed since then? Are you happy with it? Could be better. Right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Very nice. Nice. Any lessons learned? Anything that went wrong, or anything like that? Things that surprised you, maybe? Yeah. Yeah. That's very nice. Yeah. That's right. Mhm. Yeah. So what's next for you guys? Yeah. Love that. Yeah. That is fantastic. That's fantastic. No, I appreciate you guys sharing your experience. What's your advice to people? I'm going to say people, real estate investors, and a lot of real estate investors, they don't do anything, but a lot of them they do. They have single family house rentals. They do some flip. What's your advice to people who are doing that, and they're doing it because they probably want to quit their job, right? They want to quit the rat race, and they're doing this and they're taking action, and they either don't know about multifamily or they kind of view it as an advanced strategy they might graduate to in 20, 30 years. What is your advice to the average real estate investor who wants to quit their job or retire early? Hard to believe. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. One of the things that I like what you guys have done. First of all, you're doing this together, which is fantastic. That's number one. Number two is yes, you educate yourself. A lot of people do, but one of the things you do is you kind of put blinders on, especially you, Jason. You just kind of bumble through it, And Pili's like, oh, maybe we should, think about this a little more. And you're like, screw it, So you're just kind of, and the other thing you did well is you started to talk everybody, right? And I'm certain that once you started meeting people who were doing what you wanted to do, your comfort zone started to expand significantly, and you started to believe that you could do this. Maybe you didn't know all the details, but you were very confident you could figure it out. And so as you attracted more people to you, all of a sudden your confidence level expanded significantly, right? And then frankly, one thing leads to another. It's a lot of people sitting there at the local RIA meeting, and they're like, how does this guy do 94 units? It's impossible. But when you started out, you weren't thinking, I'm going to do 94 units in 12 months, right? You just kind of said, hey, what do I need to do next? Oh, I got to go there. I got to talk to that guy. And I think that's the lesson here is I think sometimes we just got to put blinders on and just do stuff. And we can't have it all figured out. It's almost impossible to have it all figured out. It actually is impossible, which means that if you feel like you need to figure it out up front, you're never going to get there because you're just not going to have that. So love that. So if people want to get a hold of you, how can people find you? All right. Well, I'll put in the show notes, and don't be surprised if your email starts, burning hot after this podcast airs. So I really appreciate you guys sharing your story with us.